What's up, guys? Let's try back again. So I figured I'd get a video out of the way since this is the weekend after JDS just knocked the shit out of Cain Velasquez. We got Brock Lesnar coming up against Reem, and of course, I'm picking Reem to win that fight. I'm pretty positive that Reem's going to take Lesnar down, and then we're going to see this fight happen. So, and even if it doesn't go exactly that way, eventually we're going to see this fight go down. JDS and Reem, they're just destined to collide. They're going to fight at some point, and win or lose, whatever happens. So I wanted to do a prediction video about it, talk about the fighters, and give you my opinion on who I think is going to win and my picks for betting. So yeah, on one hand we've got JDS, just won the heavyweight championship, beat Cain Velasquez. A lot of people thought that Cain was pretty much unstoppable. Cain's got that gas tank, and very well rounded, hard for anybody to beat. And Junior Dos Santos beat him in 1 minute and 4 seconds. It only took a couple shots, and that was it. One big right hand, and he was down, and finished him up very quickly. So what do we know about JDS? Well, we know he's got some of the best boxing in all of mixed martial arts. Some of the best pure professional boxing with his uppercut, his overhand right. He mixes up his jabs well for MMA. He doesn't leave his arms hanging out there. He doesn't really use kicks either too much. Once in a while, a little bit, but mostly he's dangerous with his hands. He's a boxer. That's what makes this an interesting matchup. He does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good anti-wrestling. You guys know I kind of like that term, anti-wrestling. He uses his wrestling not to take opponents down, but he uses it to keep them standing up and not go down himself and implement his boxing skills. So, the Rocky of MMA. What else is there to say about JDS? Beating everybody. Finally, a new challenger has entered the arena. We've got Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem is the best pure striker in the world. Really no confusion, no question about it. If you guys watched the K1 World Grand Prix last year and you saw what Alistair did to those guys, MMA fighters are not supposed to do that. MMA fighters are not supposed to be able to go over into kickboxing and take the kickboxing world title in a tournament. They're just not supposed to be able to do that. When you are a star in one sport and you're a champion in one sport, how often do you see guys go from one sport to another and be one of the best in each or the best in each? It almost never happens. You look at even Michael Jordan. He tries to play baseball and he didn't do too well. He did okay. He was able to play, but he certainly wasn't MVP. Alistair Overeem goes over in kickboxing and wins the whole freaking tournament. Knocked out Badr Hari, knocked out Peter Arts, knocked out tons of guys. He's just insane. If you guys seen his knockout of Ben Edwards, one of the best knockouts ever. Seen his knockout of Todd Duffy. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Is there anybody right now that can stop Alistair Overeem? Really. The guy is just on this roll in the past couple years, ever since he became Overeem and beefed up like this, and I just don't know. Now here's the question about this fight right here. This is obviously going to be standing. We know they're not going to go down. They're not going to take each other down. They're going to stand up. They both believe in their styles. Okay, this is like a classic MMA matchup here because you've got a Muay Thai, kickboxer versus a boxer. Now the way I look at it is this: when it comes to fighting, the less restrictions on a fighter in their sport, the better that fighter is overall. So for example, you have James Toney against Randy Couture. In MMA, you're able to strike, you're able to throw punches and kicks, you're able to do all these things. In boxing, it's restricted. You can only throw punches and whatever else, really, hardly anything. So when you take two fighters and one is in a more restrictive style than another, you kind of have to go with the guy who is in the less restrictive style. Okay, so you have to say, all right, well, in K1, they're allowed to box. Okay, they're allowed to box. But they can also elbow, they can also knee, they can also use kicks, they can also do all of these things. Okay, so when we're comparing both these guys' skill sets, you have to see that when it comes down to it, the odds are in the Reem's favor. Because the Reem is a champion of not only MMA, but also of kickboxing. Junior Dos Santos could come on over in kickboxing if he wanted to as a pure boxer, but unless he can fight at his range, which usually boxers would have trouble doing. If you're a pure boxer and you go into kickboxing, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked. That's all there is to it. So because of that, JDS's chances here are to keep it close. close the distance fast, use his speed. Get in on Reem. When you're in close, use your speed with your boxing. Don't throw too hard, but use a lot of, throw a lot, throw fast as you can, and hope that Reem doesn't hit you with a left or, God forbid, a right hook or an uber knee. Because if he does, the fight is over. Either way, I see this fight ending in the first round, maybe getting to the second round if they both respect each other's power a lot. But I really don't see how anybody could pick Junior Dos Santos in this fight. When you're dealing with two styles, the style that's less restrictive is more effective. That's all there is to it. So, I see Junior Dos Santos getting hit with an uber knee, getting hit with a left or right hook, and going to sleep in this fight, guys. I see it happening. The only way it's not going to happen is if, like I said, he can close the distance, stay at a kickboxing range, avoid the knees, avoid the elbows, and turn this into a boxing match. If he does that, he can win. He can beat Reem. For a prediction, I don't see it happening. Regardless of what the odds are, and they'll probably be in JDS's favor since he is the current champion, I say if you're a betting man, you bet on Reem in this fight. He's just so big, so strong. He's way bigger than JDS at this point. He's at least 20 pounds heavier, all muscle pretty much. The only other thing is that JDS could wear him out if he uses his 5-round fight. His cardio, possibly Reem could gas because of all that extra muscle. But realistically, when Ben Edwards came at Reem with those punches, Reem just blocked them all and stood right in front of him. And it's like, okay, throw everything you got at me. Ben Edwards threw everything he had at Reem. Reem just stood there, boom, 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 hit him a couple times. That's it. He's KO'd. And that's with big gloves on. That's not with small MMA gloves. Dear God, what Alistair Overeem is going to do to JDS, in my opinion. That's it for now, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think JDS stands any kind of a chance against Reem? I say no. Let me know what you think. Peace.